Gurji here, and today we are going to talk about the OnePlus Nord, the same Nord that made waves all around, shook the phone market. We are going to have a long-term look over it. That is, after an update that it received recently to improve a lot of things. I'll give you my thoughts and ideas. But before that, if you're new here, press that subscribe button, press that bell icon to get all the notifications, and let's get started. So before we actually start, the rumored or the said 25,000 version of the OnePlus Nord is not yet available in India or anywhere actually. The 25,000 version is not here. Then the base version available is 27,000. Moreover, the 25,000 version is not even viable, to be very honest, for a very simple reason: it just has 64 GB storage space. So now that out of the way, let's talk about the phone, and let's first talk about its pros, right? So in pros, the first I would like to talk about is the design. So if you look at the phone from a distance, or if you hold it in your hand, to a certain degree, the phone does feel very, very premium. It has that metallic alert slider which looks really good. It has a good back. They provide a fairly decent case too in the box. So most of the people are going to use the phone like this, and it looks fairly premium. But you take the cover out and you start realizing that they have cut corners at some places, which is fine. And I'll talk about that in the cons. But as far as design goes, the beautiful screen and the fairly good looking, great colored back actually feels very good. And it's a glass back, yes, but we'll talk more about it in cons. Now talk about the performance. Right, this has a 765G processor and the performance is pretty smooth. As you can see, everything runs fairly smooth, fairly simple. The 90Hz performs very well. Yet, obviously, it's 765G, so the performance is not comparable to the latest flagship. But the 90Hz holds up pretty well and everything opens fast. Now, the issue that were coming to people have been actually fixed in the updates. The gallery was launching pretty slow. There was some stutter while launching the gallery, but the OnePlus has promptly fixed that. That gets us to our third part, that is the OS. Like I said, OnePlus promptly fixed that with an update. That is something you need to look at when you're buying a phone. The operating system and how the company deals with it. The operating system is perfectly fine and beautiful, and there is no stutter, there are no bloatware apps, and that is something that I like, right? That has already received one OTA update fixing most of the issues that were coming, improving the camera performance for the macro lens. And yes, the macro lens did have a lot of problems, but it has been improved fairly well, right? So the UI is something that OnePlus has always been appreciated about, and it shows. The UI is surprisingly smooth. And I've used a lot of mid-range phones, and the problem with mid-range phones is that the UI is not that snappy. But here the UI is more snappy than my iQOO 3, and that is to say something because iQOO 3 has Snapdragon 865. Obviously, there's a lot of role that the 90Hz plays, but to run the 90Hz, the performance also has to be very good, and the animations have to be even better. And OnePlus is the king of it, and everyone knows that. Next is the screen. The screen is beautiful. Right? It is gorgeous to look at. It's an AMOLED panel. It's really good. If you put on dark mode, it really shines with the battery, and the screen is actually very nice for a mid-range phone. Honestly, not a lot of mid-range phones have this good of a screen. Obviously, the dual camera punch hole might be problematic to a few people, but I think it's okay and something that can be worked with. But the screen is genuinely very beautiful to look at, and I saw no problems. Actually, I did not even see the green tint issue, but that might just be this piece, and well, lucky me. Other than that, everything can be, watched at high frame rates. The screen does not stutter, tear, or anything like that. And yes, screen tearing and stuttering are something that high refresh rates do bring with them if the phone's performance can't catch up. But no, here you don't see that, and everything is working very well. And the colors are accurate and on point, which is something that should be looked at. So yeah, the colors are pretty accurate and nice, and the battery does not drain too fast. Next, we come to the camera. Well, the camera is hit and a miss, to be very honest. It's a decent camera. It's not the OnePlus 8 camera, they said, right? It's not like it is the actual OnePlus 8's camera performance. It might be the same sensor, but the performance on OnePlus 8 is far better. Whereas this one does not perform exactly that well, but it is dependable. You can take it out and click some great pictures. Obviously, the pictures are coming up on your screen. So yeah, it's a pretty decent camera, but I would not say it's the same as OnePlus 8, right? And obviously that is their flagship, this is their budget, they won't have the same level of quality, right? Moving on, we have the front camera, wherein I think OnePlus has really shined. The front camera is actually extremely good, right? It also has that clean image sensor wherein they tell you if your image sensor is dirty, and it is actually a very, very good camera, 32 megapixel. I mean, beautiful camera, and the portrait shots come out to be best because it actually uses another sensor, unlike a lot of cameras. So yeah, the quality on the front camera is something that I was really blown away by and really like, right? Next we come to the battery, and what can I say, the battery performance of OnePlus Nord is really good. You can last a day easily without a problem, and I really like that because battery is a big issue for a lot of people who are in the budget range, right? So yeah, the battery is well performing, and the OnePlus charging, even though they just have a 30-watt charger, the way it charges is really good, and sometimes it also overtakes those really fast charging phones. So yeah, as far as battery and charging department goes, OnePlus has cracked the code. For the audio quality of the phone, the speaker is a bit tinny, it's not that great, it's fairly decent, but when you talk about the Bluetooth, it supports a lot of file formats. That is something that is really nice. Surprisingly, even my iQOO 3 doesn't do that, so that's something that is, I think, very, very nice. Other than that, there's not much to talk about. The haptic feedback is pretty good. It's a very subtle, small vibration, which I really, really like, and I think is really good. Now we're going to go to the cons, right? So when you come to the cons, first, design problem, I think, and okay, it's justified that this is a budget phone, but it has a plastic edge around it. So it has a plastic chassis with glass build, and that has made it weak. Obviously, you're not going to have much trouble if you don't bend your phone like jerry rig, but then obviously, yes, it makes the phone a bit weaker. When it falls, it might have a problem, but I don't think in daily life you would face a lot of problems there, right? Next is the headphone jack. There is no headphone jack, right? There's no headphone jack on this phone. And when you talk about the mid-range, the budget range, headphone jack is something that is very, very important to a lot of people, and I think that should have been considered when making this phone. Nonetheless, it's a decent phone, works out pretty well, right? Another big issue per se with me, right, when it comes to the phone, is the way the phone has been priced, right? It feels a bit gimmicky, because Redmi K20 Pro is available for 23,000, then Realme X3 is also available. They may not offer the same quality of software, but they offer better processing power when compared to OnePlus, right? So that is something that I honestly thought that was a bit gimmicky. And another thing that I did feel way too gimmicky were the last two cameras. They are pretty much useless, okay? They're honestly pretty much useless, right? The only two main lenses, the wide angle and the main, are actually worthwhile. The other two just take pictures because they're supposed to, and most of the work is done by the software. So I think they could have not wasted the money here and maybe put on a metal chassis. Don't know. Otherwise, to be very honest, in this whole time of usage, I think this is a fairly good performing phone. A day-to-day user will not even notice that it is running on 700 series processor, not 800 series processor. So all in all, I think it's a great phone. Could have been a better deal and could have not had the gimmicky cameras, but otherwise a great phone, great purchase. And that's all for this video, guys. I hope you liked it. If you did, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you, guys.